Right, hi, we're about to teach you how to work out the volume of a prism. The formula is there. The volume of a prism equals the area of the cross-section times the length. Another word for cross-section is the face, so I might talk about the area of the face. On all the examples I've chosen here, the red highlighted ones are the faces. So, for example 1, I'm going to work out the volume of a cuboid. Straightforward, area of cross-section times length. So the area of the cross-section would just be 5 times 6. I could work that out, which would be 30, and I could just times it by 10 as well. So I could say 5 times 6 times 10 on a calculator, or I could do this one in my head. So that would be 300. Because it's volume and it's three-dimensional, if I've got centimetres times centimetres times centimetres, that would be centimetre cubed. On a cuboid, it doesn't matter which one you see as the face. I could have seen this one as the face or the cross-section. In this case, look what happens. It's basically the same. That would be base times height, so 10 times 5, which would be 50. I times by how far it goes back, the length, the other dimension. It would still be 300 centimetre cubed. Of course, when you're multiplying, it doesn't actually matter what order you do it in. So some people, for the volume of a cuboid, would just multiply all 3 sides together. On example 2, though, which is a triangular prism, it would matter. So we've got to pick the face, the shape which repeats itself all the way along its length. If I was to cut that in half, I would still see a triangle. So this is definitely the face. So the area of the face, or the cross-section, is base times height, but don't forget to divide by 2. That would be 28 divided by 2, which is 14, and then I times by the length again, which is 10, so the answer is 140 centimetre cube, not forgetting to put my units in. A slightly harder one would be example 3, but it's the same formula, so there's not too many extra things to worry about. This time, though, the face is like a cylinder on its end, like a baked bean tin. So the cross-section, or the face, is now a circle. It's not very well drawn, but hopefully you can imagine that that is a circle there. The formula for the area of a circle is pi times radius squared. So I'm just going to write that in, pi times radius squared. And once I've worked out the area of the circle, I will times it by its length, which of course is 18. So let's put the numbers in, L for length. So I've got pi times 5 squared times by the other dimension, which is 18. Certainly one for a calculator. So if you can see that, quite simply, pi times 5 squared times by 18, press equals. On these calculators you have to press the S to D button to get it into decimals, and it might say 1413.716694. Now you'd probably round that number off, of course. It would probably tell you in the question, it might say 1 significant figure, 2 significant figures, 1 decimal place. If it doesn't say, it doesn't really matter, but just make sure you don't round it off incorrectly. So if I was going to the nearest whole number, or the nearest centimetre cubed, it wouldn't be 1,413. The 7 would round the 3 up, so it would be 1,414 centimetre cubed to the nearest whole number. Right, and finally, you sometimes get an example like example 4, which says if they gave you the volume, the answer if you like, what is the missing length B? B for base in this case, so it's the same question as we saw, or the same formula as we saw in example 2, which was a triangular prism. But this time we're going to use the same formula, but we're going to try and work out the base of the triangle. So using that, area of the face times the length, the area of the face this time is a triangle. Okay, so base times height divided by 2. So B for base times the height, which is 5, divided by 2. I'm then going to times by the length, the other dimension, times by the 10. But we're told what the volume is. All that equals 200. what I've got to do is work out the missing length B. So it's an equation in effect. We're going to try and solve that equation. We're going to use our flowchart method. So I start with the unknown. What's the first thing I've done? I've multiplied by 5. The next thing I've done is divide by 2. And then I've multiplied by 10. That gives us 200. So I come underneath, I do the opposite operations. The opposite of times 10 is divide by 10. The opposite of divide by 2 is times by 2. And the opposite of times by 5 is divide by 5. So I can work them out. 200 divided by 10 is 20. 20 times 2 is 40. 40 divided by 5 is 8. Don't forget to write your answer down separately. The missing length B equals 8 centimetres. And that's volume of a prism.